Let me tell you a little bit about Tyler Durden. While the rest of us were sleeping, he worked. He had one part-time job as a projectionist. So someone has to be there to switch the projectors. If you look for it, you can see these little dots come into the upper right-hand corner of the screen.
In the industry, we call them cigarette burns.
Why would anyone want this shit job?
Affords him other interesting opportunities.
Like splicing single frames of pornography into family films.
Nobody knows that they saw it, but they did.
A nice big cock.
Yo, what is an identity crisis? Crisis things, identity crisis, usually I think midlife crisis. And you think about the 40 or 50-year-old guy who's got the family and he goes and buys like a Corvette or something like that. And he does that because he doesn't want to let go of what he thought he had in his youth. And he does something like get the cool car to keep a hold of that for as long as he can. And everybody will see him driving down the road in his red or yellow Corvette and they look at him and go, oh, that poor guy is going through a midlife crisis. What is it that you think of when you hear identity crisis? I saw something on Facebook last night, 12:30 or so a.m. I was actually directed there by a message, and the first thing that I thought when I saw what I was directed towards was that the individual or entity that had posted this was having an identity crisis. Now, the picture was of Danielle Brandon giving the middle finger, doing one of these, right? Look at this guy. Yeah, giving the middle finger. And if you are informed and you follow the sport at all, it's likely that you have an understanding of why she would be doing that. And if you watched the documentary last year and that was it, you probably have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. That's because for some reason the documentary left it out, but they left in every single swear word that every other athlete said within the entire 2-hour documentary. And I'm not talking about Danielle Brandon having an identity crisis. I'm talking about CrossFit Games as a company having an identity crisis. I keep on saying it, identity crisis, identity crisis, identity crisis. What is it? Google it, because
I don't know shit about fuck.
I'm not a freaking psychologist. I only did exercise kinesiology in college. I did the basic levels, all the psych classes and all that shit. But period of uncertainty and confusion and a person's sense of identity becomes insecure, typically due to a change in their expected aims or role in society. And the reason I bring all of this up is because me, myself, I know exactly what it is I'm doing here. And I've had the conversation a couple of times with a couple of different people about the upcoming CrossFit Games. They're like, are you worried? Are you worried? I'm like, the only thing that I'm worried about is that when I turn on the camera, it's 100% Hiller. Go, 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 go.
Rage, rage, fucking rage.
And when I'm walking around the CrossFit Games, I got to be switched on to the best that I can be. But at the very minimum, it's still me. I'm in there. I know I'm in there. There's no act. There's no facade. All I got to do is drink a little bit more pre-workout and I'll be good to go. So Susan and I are going to be rocking around with a Camelback full of Eno Explode and we'll be good to go. Because what you see is what you get. We just got to make that we're turned up to 11 the whole weekend.
If you can see, the numbers all go to 11. Look, right across the board. You're on 10 on your guitar. Where can you go from there? These go to 11.
Completely on the other end of the spectrum are those individuals going through an identity crisis. I would say Danielle Brandon is on the same page of people like myself, Matt Souza, Sevan, because what you see is what you get. We're not trying to put out some sort of a freaking image of ourselves to make the entire public happy. She gives the middle finger. The middle finger. There it is. Oh yeah, that big old middle finger. There it is. She gives it after winning that handstand walk event at the CrossFit Games. People speculate as to why she did that. I don't think she actually said outright what it was about, but you can damn well bet that when you go through the comments section on the Facebook thread, there are people offering up their opinions about why. She's giving a middle finger to the community. She's giving a middle finger to the CrossFit Games. She's giving a middle finger to the government for making her wear a mask. Blah, blah, blah. CrossFit for making her wear a mask because they're paying attention to the rules. And what it all comes down to is they should just shut the fuck up. But what I also understand is that she has gained quite a bit of popularity because she is indeed that person who is true to herself. Sevan, last night on his show, was talking about how he would rather have Danielle Brandon's 300,000 or 400,000 subscribers on Instagram rather than Danny Spiegel's almost 1 million. And why? Because the people who follow Danielle Brandon are on board with everything that she's doing. And everything that she's doing is 100% Danielle Brandon. And the people who follow Danny Spiegel are just like, I'd like to go watch whatever the hell that chick's up to today. What is she doing? Not because maybe a couple of them are in the same boat as Danielle Brandon, but I would bet that if you took a poll and there was a percentage like, do you care about the message that this individual is putting out? They would be more on board with Danielle Brandon's message, image, brand, whatever it is, the DBE stuff going on. And I believe at some point in the beginning of this, I said that there was something individual entity going through an identity crisis. And I believe that that is CrossFit. And I felt that way when I was watching the documentary, and I understand that's not put out by CrossFit. CrossFit wasn't the thing that put together the documentary that was Gravitas, and I believe that there was also some sort of a mistake when they were putting out the audio for that, so maybe there was a wrong abridged version and they weren't supposed to have all those swear words in there. But in years past, CrossFit was nitty gritty, right? I mean, 2013, 14, 15, it was just like a fuck you, we do what we want sort of deal, and everyone always understood that vibe. Recently, we've been getting a different kind of vibe, include everybody. Everyone's doing the right thing all the time, blah-de-da-de-da. But then you watch the documentary and there's just swear there, swear there, swear there. It's like, what are we watching, an Andrew Hiller video? And it's like, what are they trying to do? Are they trying to be the swearing company, or are they trying to be the love everybody company? Because when you watch that, you don't understand. But it's also not made by them. But what you would assume is put out by them is their Facebook stuff. So I'm directed by an individual in my messenger on Facebook to go check that out. And then what I see is 7 hours ago, there was a post by Danielle Brandon with almost 1,000 comments about it because she's given the middle finger. And there are people in the comments section who are not understanding why she's giving the middle finger. It's like, this is how you get attention when you're never going to win the CrossFit games. And it's like, oh, you've been there 4 years. I'm glad I haven't been keeping up. And it's like, these people are so fucked up because she's a super stupid, great athlete. And everybody who's making a comment about her athleticism wishes that they had 1/10 of the potential that this motherfucker has in her freaking pinky finger, in her middle finger. They wish they had the tip of the spear, the middle finger, and then maybe the individual offering the shitty comments can shove it up their butt and it will give them the ability to do 10 burpees without breaking a sweat. But that's the world that we live in, and I've seen a little bit of that myself. People don't really want to believe, or people don't understand, or people aren't on board with, or people all have their own opinions, and that's kind of the world that we live in, and that's okay. But I do think that when you are in a position of a Danielle Brandon, it's very good for you to always be putting out the same message, and it's even better for you as a person to be putting out that message while it is still who you are, because otherwise every time you switch on the camera or someone's walking around and they see you, you're going to have to start up the act, and that's going to pull away from you a little bit by bit by bit. And Sousa brought up the other day that every time anyone's ever seen Rich Froning, he's always the exact same person. And the only way that I think you can do that over a long period of time is if you are indeed a genuine individual who is doing you. Back to CrossFit and the identity crisis thing. What are they passionate about? What are their spiritual beliefs? What are their values? What is their role in society or purpose in life? And who are you? Are the things that you would want to ask yourself if you're having the symptoms of an identity crisis. And I think that all of those things are kind of misconstrued. It's like, are they pushing the level 1? Are they pushing the CrossFit games? Are they pumping out sugar? Are they pumping out good products? Are they a fitness company? What's going on here? Are they marketing towards the general public? Are they on board with Danielle Brandon in the middle finger? Are they a rash, brash company who would like to do these sorts of things? And more importantly, what is next? How do they move on through it? So how do you cope with an identity crisis? You have to acknowledge that you don't really understand what's going on, explore your beliefs and interests, consider your goals, and get support. And weirdly enough, I think that this is where we see them kind of pushing away the people like myself and the people like Sevan. And although Matt Suze and I have our little media credentials and we're going to be wandering around, we're still like, are they going to kick us out? Do they hate us? What do we got to do to make sure that we stay in the good graces of CrossFit long enough so we don't have to get kicked out of the CrossFit games? Because if you're going to support people like Danielle Brandon giving the middle finger, and you're on board with the rash, brash stuff that we were accustomed to in 2010 through 2014, 15, 16, where it's just that they don't give a fuck nature of it, and they're going to say, we're going to put up a picture of a middle finger on our freaking Facebook page, and if you don't like it, then get the fuck out of here. Or every time you're faced with some sort of confrontation, are you going to say, that person's a piece of shit, keep away from us. We are this company, we're high and mighty, we're better than you. And if you're better than us, if you're trying to put up the entire facade that you are the company that is squeaky clean, don't do anything wrong, we just like fitness, genie in a bottle, I don't know what I'm doing over here, then that also isn't the type of picture that you put up on Facebook. Middle fingers for the family, the children, and all to see. So this entire video, it's got absolutely nothing to do with Danielle Brandon, unless you want to look at it in the light that is, she's doing her, good for her, and everybody should probably go support her. order, and it's got everything to do with CrossFit the company not really knowing where it's going. What is their mission statement? What is their end goal? What is it that they're trying to portray themselves as? The answers for myself are, I don't know. But in this little get support thing with coping with an identity crisis, you see that having friends and family to lean on can help. Strong social support is an important part of mental well-being and can also be a way to gain the feedback and encouragement you need to feel comfortable with your identity. Lean on everyone who's trying to help out. That's myself and Sevan Souza Sevan Podcast. Lean on us. Lean in, CrossFit. Lean in. And Riller out.